Hello there, beloved book connectors. Welcome back to the Book Connection. I am your host, Blue-Eyed Black Devil, and I'm here with another feature of About the Author. And this time I will be talking about Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was born Marguerite Annie Johnson on April 4th, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri. She was the younger child of two, and she was born to parents Bailey Johnson, who was a doorman and a Navy dietitian, and Vivian Baxter Johnson, a nurse and a card dealer. Well, they ran the gamut, I guess. A nurse and a card dealer, a dietitian, and a doorman. And you really had to take whatever you could find, I suppose. All right, so like I said, she was the youngest. She had one brother who was 1 year older than her, and his name was Bailey Jr. For the first 3 years of their lives, the children and the parents lived in Maya's maternal grandmother's home. So that would mean Maya's mother's home is where they resided till they were 3 or 4. Their parents' marriage ended somewhere around that same age when Maya was 3 or 4. He decides to put a 3 and 4-year-old children on a train and send them by themselves to Stamps, Arkansas to live with his mother. Now, I don't know what was going on with her mother that would have been I don't know, maybe times were different back then. As a matter of fact, I know they were. But the kids were born in 1927 to 1928. So that means that at the earliest, Maya was 3, her brother was 4. So that was in the early 1930s, 31 and 32. These black children in the segregated South being put on trains by themselves. Oh my God, I'm so thankful I was born when I was. Okay, but anyway, because apparently the mom didn't see anything wrong with it. So they go and they live with their father's mother for about 4 or 5 years until one day, out of nowhere, unannounced, he just shows up, takes the children, and returns them back to their mom in St. Louis. When Maya was roughly 7 or 8, one of her mother's boyfriends, I shouldn't say one of, because I don't mean to make it sound like the lady was all over the place. So this is how I'll phrase it. Her mother's boyfriend, who went by the name Freeman, S.A'd Maya. And she told her big brother, Bailey, about it. And he was the one who went and told their mom. Now, to the mother's credit, she did go and have him arrested. He was prosecuted for it, but guess how much time he got? This man, even back in the early to mid-30s, by this time, if she was 8, no, she was 7, so that means this happened somewhere between 1935 and 36. So, black man assaulting a black child to the white people, that's not a big deal. This man only served 1 day. 1 day. O-N-E, day. And not even in prison. He served it in jail. This man traumatized her. Let me tell you, he did that 1 day in jail. And he got out, but 4 days later, he ended up being handled. He's no more. He left. He checked out against his will. He was laid down against his will, and it's suspected that Maya and Bailey's uncles took care of that. But the problem with it is that when this happened to Maya, and the man did the time and eventually ended up losing his life, Maya was so traumatized that she literally did not say a word. She didn't utter one sound. She didn't do anything for almost 5 consecutive years. She didn't speak at home, church, amongst family. She just didn't, because she felt that her words cost a man his life. And I say, no, your words didn't cost him his life. His actions towards you cost him his life. Okay, so Maya is in school, and she's pretty much a smart student. She goes through there. But at some point, a teacher, English teacher, Maya wrote something about she liked poetry and she liked words or something. And the teacher says to her, look, you have to speak poetry. You can't just write it. You have to be able to speak it. Slowly but surely, Maya hesitantly started to speak. But once she started to speak, you know what else she said? She said, when people, after she became successful and all around the world and stuff, someone asked her once about, if she ever felt ashamed of anything. And Maya said, you know how I deal with shame? I speak it. I speak my shame because I don't want to ever let silence. I just don't want to give power to my silence. So if I speak it, I can deal with it for what it is. In other words, this is just, I'm paraphrasing it. If I speak it, I own it. It doesn't own me. And that's how she dealt with things the rest of her life. One of the jobs she had, I didn't know this, but she was a prostitute. I just never would have thought that. She said that she had to do what she had to do to take care of not only herself, but her son. And yes, she did it. And yes, she talks about it because it is just as much a part of her as anything she'd ever written. And she never, ever wanted her son to be told something about his mother that she hadn't already told him. Again, that's a part of getting ahead of the shame, is to go ahead and just acknowledge it. And another reason she said she did it is because a lot of people will, they want to watch what they tell their children about themselves or the type lives they may have led. And she said all of it is a part of making us who we really come to be. So I never want my child to say, I had a perfect mom. I would never say I had a perfect son. But yet and still we're perfect for each other, basically. I've never, she says, looked at my son and purposely lied to him. it was hard out there. Times were gritty, grimy. I had to do what I had to do. And you grew up. Now, in I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, she did speak a lot about the close relationship she had with her brother. But her brother was lost to the streets. He became addicted to drugs, and I think he disappeared for a while. But what I read a while ago, it says that her mother, Vivian Baxter Johnson, she passed away in 1991. And then her brother, Bailey Jr., passed away in the year 2000 after suffering a series of strokes. So let me see. She survived her mother, or outlived her mother, by 23 years. And she survived her brother by 14 years. The great Maya Angelou, or Marguerite Annie Johnson, passed away on May 28th, 2014, in her home of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the age of 86. Now, book connectors, she still continued to give lectures well into her 80s. I think she slowed down the last year or two of her life, but she was always giving lectures on television. She read poems at President Bill Clinton's 1993 inauguration, and that was the first time a female poet had spoken at an inauguration. Well, it wasn't female, I'm sorry. That was the first time a poet had ever been recited at a presidential inauguration since 1963. Robert Frost read at JFK, John Fitzgerald Kennedy's inauguration in 1961. Yeah, because he got killed in 63. So, yes, Maya was the first black and female poet to ever recite her works at a presidential inauguration. Book connectors, this wraps up this session, and I can go on for years about Miss Maya Angelou. But I want to go ahead and start reading my next book for my video. I want to try to have it, get my notes and things together. So I hope I didn't short her, Maya Angelou, because she was very highly respected, and people still read her books, and libraries over the years have tried to ban her books several times, and thankfully to no avail. So, subscribers, thank you so much for being subscribed. Visitors, you know the old routine, but I mean just what I say. Feel free to join us. We love you. We would love to have you with us. And everyone, please remember to like, comment respectfully, and share. And by all means, I need you to make sure to have your notification bells not only just turned on, but I need you to make sure they're set to all. So that way you will know or be notified every time I post a new video. And in the meantime, book connectors, remember this. As long as there are books around, there is always something to read. Book lovers and book connectors, be safe out there. And until we read again, God bless.